Well, we have the Chief Minister back with us. Earlier today I did an interview, but things were developing, let's say, at a pace, and you wanted just a bit more time to check what's going on. I'm not sure I'm going to get much more out of you, but thank you for turning up to talk to me about it. Sky News this morning led with an investigation that's going on between the UK and including the Isle of Man. There's issues going on. I don't know, again, how much we can really say because it's a live case. But I'm intrigued that the Isle of Man has cooperated with the UK and could there be implications for businesses here, or what is alleged to have been taking place with PPE? I think we can say that much, and things like that, equipment.
Well, Paul, all I can say and confirm is that we have been cooperating with the Isle of Man Constabulary has cooperated with the National Crime Agency, and the National Crime Agency have been on the Isle of Man, but you'll understand that I'm not in a position to comment about a police investigation, and indeed you wouldn't expect me to have the level of details to be able to do so anyway. And
that's why we can't go into much detail, but I'm intrigued about the cooperation. This is something that happens all the time, or because obviously the UK doesn't have jurisdiction here, they have to come to the Isle of Man Constabulary. Is this unusual, or is this quite the case?
We don't see UK officers operating on the Isle of Man all the time, but of course, we have substantial commitments in terms of our commitments to crime and money laundering, etc., etc. So, where appropriate, of course, then the constabulary will cooperate fully with the UK authorities, and the Minister will sign the relevant authorities for them to operate.
This is never good because the Isle of Man, it always, in the UK's eyes, is always seen as the sort of dark, mysterious, the tax haven sort of thing. I mean, this is not what you'd like to portray, but this is still what kind of will be thrown up, no doubt, because of these sort of cases.
Well, I think, Paul, we've probably gone far enough. There's a live investigation around this. I don't really want to get drawn into. I understand where you want to go with this interview, but it's just not appropriate for me to go any further.
While we also had another thing that was happening, and today is the anaesthetists at Nobles was four that were on charges. I mean, very, very, it could be groundbreakingly difficult if this has gone to trial. It's not going to go to trial. Anaesthetists are doing their job, and then four of them were charged, and now, by the way, all charges have dropped.
Well, be clear, it was gross negligence, manslaughter was the original charge. But yes, the trial has collapsed, and there are a number of substantial questions. However, there is still a number of due processes that need to be followed, including a coroner's inquest. And I understand probably some form of medical investigation that will need to take place. Once the due processes have followed, there will, I expect, be a number of significant questions that will need to be answered. And that once we've got to that stage, then I expect that Council of Ministers will determine what sort of action then needs to happen to understand, I think, everything around this particular case, how it reached the position that it did, the impact that it's had, and whether, of course, will need to be further actions or recommendations that will need to be put in place as a result of it. But it is a very serious matter. Obviously, at the heart of it, there is a family grieving for an individual, but four senior medical professionals have had their lives thrown upside down, and they're still going through that process in some form. As I say, once the coroner's inquest and the appropriate medical investigation has happened, Council will review the position and then determine what type of review or investigation needs to take place. Review or inquiry needs to take place in order to understand how things perhaps need to be shaped for the future.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Again, a bit sketchy for me to know all ins and outs of this, but is the law different in the Isle of Man? This wouldn't have happened in the UK. Is that right? I mean, the laws would need to be maybe changed or protection put in place when people are doing their job.
I think, yeah. I need to be careful because I think there is, as I say, still live proceedings to go through, coroner's inquests, but there have been a number of serious questions, I suppose, around this whole matter that do require answering in the public interest, and also for the future safety, both of patients but also of medical staff as well, as they go about their business. So, as I said, we'll wait now for coroner's inquiry. We will also wait for the medics to do whatever they need to do internally in terms of reviewing what's been undertaken. And I expect then that council will determine that some form of further review will then need to take place, wider review into the whole matter. But until everything's happened, Paul, I can't really comment now any further.
Only to say that, I mean, to add that the implications would getting people to work in Nobles in the Isle of Man could have been, well, they have been under. People didn't want to come here almost because they didn't want to take on that responsibility. So there hopefully could be at least an end to that, because you don't want uncertainty and you want people to come here to work, don't you?
That is one of the fundamental questions that we will need to deal with. Absolutely. There's been a lot of unsettled medical professionals, and of course, we recognise had this case gone all the way through, then there would have been a number of even more substantial potential implications. But look, as I said, coroner's inquest, medical investigation, and in due course, once everything as appropriate has been followed and undertaken, and with all due respect to absolutely everybody involved here, then we will undertake whatever needs to happen next.